The sneak attack? Mancating, this is easily the most controversial and debated rule in all of cricket. Mancating is when a bowler runs out the non-striking batter before they've even delivered the ball. It happens when the non-striker leaves their crease too early to gain a head start and the bowler, instead of bowling, whips around and removes the bails. It's named after Indian bowler Vino Mankad, who famously used this dismissal against an Australian batter back in 1947. Ever since, it has sparked endless arguments. One side claims it's against the spirit of the game, a cheap shot that requires no skill. The other side argues that it's perfectly legal and the only person cheating is the batter trying to steal a few yards. Despite the controversy, the official laws have been updated to legitimize it, moving it from the unfair play section to a standard run-out. Famous modern examples like Ravichandran Ashwin dismissing Joss Butler in the IPL prove this rule is still very much alive and guaranteed to cause a firestorm every time it happens. The tardiness penalty timed out. This one is so rare. It had never happened in over 146 years of international cricket until 2023. The timed out rule states that an incoming batter must be ready to face their first ball within a set time after the previous wicket falls. In World Cup matches, that's just 2 minutes. History was made in the 2023 World Cup when Sri Lanka's Angelo Matthews was dismissed without facing a single ball after walking out to the crease. He discovered the strap on his helmet was broken and called for a replacement. The Bangladesh captain Shakib Al Hassan noticed the clock had ticked past the 2-minute mark and appealed. Despite Matthews' protests, the umpires had no choice but to give him out, making him the first player in international history to be dismissed this way. The bodyguard foul obstructing the field. This rule is all about preventing batters from deliberately getting in the way of fielders. A batter is out for obstructing the field if they willfully obstruct or distract the fielding side with their actions or words. One of the most famous examples involved England's Ben Stokes in a 2015 match against Australia. After playing a defensive shot, the bowler Mitchell Starc threw the ball back towards the stumps. Stokes, who was out of his crease, instinctively put his hand up and blocked the throw. Australia appealed, and after review, the umpire decided Stokes' action was a willful obstruction, not just self-defense. The decision was met with boos around the ground and remains a major point of debate. The no double tap rule, hitting the ball twice. This one sounds simple, but it has some strange exceptions. A batter is out if they willfully hit the ball a second time. The key word here is willfully. An accidental double hit from a single swing doesn't count. The one major exception is that a batter is allowed to hit the ball a second time to guard their wicket after it has been played. So if you block a ball and it rolls back towards your stumps, you're allowed to tap it away to save yourself from being bowled. However, you can't hit it a second time and then take a run. This is one of the rarest forms of dismissal in all of cricket, the tactical quit. Retired out. No, this isn't just giving up in cricket. There are two ways a batter can retire their innings. Retired hurt is common. A player gets injured and can return to bat later. But retired out is a purely tactical move. A batter can voluntarily choose to end their innings to allow for a more aggressive or better suited teammate to come in. Once a player is retired out, their innings is over for good and it's recorded as a dismissal for decades. This was almost unheard of in Test cricket, with the first instances occurring in 2001. However, it's become more accepted, though still debated tactic in fast-paced T20 leagues like the IPL. Players like Ravichandran Ashwin have been strategically retired by their teams to get a big hitter in for the final overs. The vanishing act, lost ball. What happens if a batter smashes the ball so far or into such dense foliage that the fielders just can't find it? That's when the lost ball rule comes into play. Any fielder can call lost ball, at which point the umpire signals a dead ball. The batting team is then awarded the greater of either 6 runs or the number of runs they had already completed, plus the run in progress if they had crossed the ball. It is then replaced with one of a similar condition to the one that vanished. This is a throwback to the early days of cricket on rustic village greens, but remains in the modern rule book for those rare occasions when the ball truly disappears. The helmet, glitch, ball, lodging and protective equipment. This rule covers some truly bizarre scenarios. If a batted ball gets stuck in the protective helmet or clothing of a fielder, the ball is immediately called dead. No runs can be scored and no dismissal can be made after that point. It's a fair catch if the ball lodges in a fielder's clothing, but not if it gets stuck in their helmet. Even weirder is the penalty for hitting a helmet left on the field. If a wicket-keeper takes off their helmet and places it on the ground behind them and the ball hits it, the batting team is automatically awarded 5 penalty runs. This rule discourages fielders from leaving equipment where it might unfairly interfere with play. The World Cup decider, overthrow controversy, overthrows runs scored after a fielder's throw misses its target are common. But a bizarre incident in the final moments of the 2019 World Cup final turned a standard rule into a massive controversy in the final over, with England needing 9 runs from 3 balls. A throw from the outfield deflected off a diving Ben Stokes bat and raced to the boundary. The umpires awarded 6 runs, 2 for the runs the batters ran and 4 for the boundary. However, critics and former umpires argued it should have only been 5. The law states that if an overthrow goes to the boundary, the runs scored should be the boundary plus any completed runs at the instant of the throw. A replay showed the batters hadn't crossed for their second run when the fielder threw the ball. That single extra run tied the match, leading to a super over and ultimately England's first ever World Cup victory based on a boundary count. Back the umpire later admitted it was a judgment error, a mistake that